You're listening to KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine.
The opinions and views expressed in this program do not reflect those of KUCI, its management, or the UC Board of Regents. To find out more about this talk show or other talk shows broadcasting on KUCI, log on to our website at kuci.org or check out the latest program guide.
This is Ashe Marcus, and I'm on location at Theater 40 of Beverly Hills for their presentation of Engaging Shaw. Hi, my name is Ashe Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Susan Prever. I've done tons of Equity Waiver theater, and the last play I did here was a wonderful play by Terrence Rattigan called Separate Tables that Jules Aaron directed, with a very large cast and a rotating set, and it was a really wonderful production. My favorite role, actually, is playing a very, very dumb blonde, a Tennessee Williams play that I did a couple of years ago at the Odyssey, in one of his more obscure plays called Kingdom of Earth. And so Beatrice Webb is a completely different kind of character in that she is extremely intelligent, extremely sharp, extremely devoted to women's rights, very ahead of her time. She's not a dumbass like I was in that play, which I really enjoyed doing. And I'm having a great time with the cast, the director. We're just having a great time. And it's difficult words, a lot of words, very wordy play. Based on historical character, it's a very interesting experience.
I love the way you played the character. You're so three-dimensional. You give her such an elegance about her, an intellect, a charm. You just gave her a glow about her.
Well, that's very nice. Thank you very much. Well, I feel like women in those days were perhaps a little more aware of. I don't know if Beatrice is so much because she's quite intelligent. But I think the women from that era and earlier had a little bit more aware of their presence in a way, not necessarily to attract men, but to bring grace to the world. And I think that's why I love playing women from that time, because there is more grace. We're a little bit sloppier now. That's just the way we are. Look at me now. I'm a relaxed, casual fool.
Yeah, I also like the way, again, that was social issues we're still dealing with. It's a bizarre way where women are basically supposed to be uplifted, but it's kind of like this bizarre thing where marriage makes a person great, but at the same time it makes them subservient. You know, some people think of marriage as being like a paradise, but you turn out you're actually in jail. You're bonded, you know.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's a duplicity that it's just part of nature, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we still feel that today. But I think that the Webbs and Shaw particularly were very aware of that particular nexus, so to speak. So even though Beatrice is married, she does know that women are in a prison if they're married, even though there is this social thing to get people together. Because also for the minds, it works better, two sometimes work better than one. And that's what we have in this play.
I also love their marriage. I just love the relationship they had, their interplay. They're just the perfect couple.
Oh, really? Oh, that's nice. It's the marriage of the minds, I think.
Yeah. Once again, I really love your performance.
Thank you.
Really love your performance. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hi, my name is Ashe Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Cornell Morris. Been at this theater company for a long time, and just love doing live theater. It's so different from, what we normally do in this town, which is, one line cut, one line, repeat the scene. This is quite a different experience, and just love doing it.
And which character did you play tonight?
I played George Bernard Shaw. He's quite an interesting man. When I started to dive into this role, I had my own kind of rudimentary knowledge of who he was, but as I studied him, gosh, what a brilliant man and very forward-thinking, and the fact that he was a vegetarian and a teetotaler, and he lived to be 94 years old, which born in 1856, that's some healthy living, and he had some very progressive views. Although I think later on in his life, some of those views became less progressive. I think he eventually socialism. I think he got frustrated with it. And he was, I think kind of a little tongue-in-cheek, but there's some truth to it. I think a benevolent dictatorship was something that he thought might better serve, because I guess he was frustrated with socialism. But but yeah, quite. I mean, gosh, he's a writer, so he's really, his quotes. He's very witty, very smart, and it was really fun to kind of get to know him. And there's a dark side to him too. I mean, I learned that at one point he thought that perhaps gassing people that were not productive society members might be a good thing to do. And that's I mean, talk about a radical thought. That's pretty radical.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I would consider him an intellectual, because there are a lot of great intellectuals. I would consider him unconventional, very experimental, kind of revolutionary, opposed to being this mastermind who thinks, I have the answer to everything. No, let's try this thing practically. Let's see if it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't, and let's move on.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that's very true, and I think I think it's evident in this play that he had a relationship with his mother, or lack of relationship with his mother, that greatly influenced his I guess capacity to love. I mean, he did end up marrying Charlotte Payne Townsend, but I think it was probably a struggle. He didn't get married until he was in his 40s. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that his mother abandoned him, even though he was very pro-woman.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Well, the playwright has he's labeled it a romantic comedy, so hopefully they will see things that are funny, but they will also see, I mean, I think that this play has heart, and you learn a lot about who these people were. I learned a lot just from reading the play about Fabianism and socialism, and and how contemporary these ideas still are. I know you talked about that with some of the other actors and actresses in the play, but these are things that we still debate today. So.
I love the play. But first of all, again, dealt with a lot of really heady topics. Talked about Nietzsche, talked about socialism, talked about, again, Fabianism. Talked a lot about things we're dealing with right now, in which I think the reason we have problems with them is because there's so much duplicity in nature, where marriage is like paradise, but at the same time it's like prison, where, pain and pleasure, where, it's like, choice and actually freedom of choice and actually moral obligation on it. It's just part of the system. And when you try to come up with something, some point in time or some point to the future, no, you got to realize that there's a point in the past too. You know what I mean? I mean, this is the way life is. You have pain and pleasure.
Right, I agree. And the older one gets, certainly for me, this is true for me, that things are so not black and white. Everything is a gray area, because you have in life, on this planet, we have diametrically opposed things, and that's what creates the tension of life. Is you have black and white and everything in between, and so I think I always find that fascinating. If a story is told correctly, it should be exposing the gray area of all these issues.
Yeah, well, I really love the performance, because again, it was so complex, had such texture to it. Plus, you gave such a three-dimensional picture of Shaw, his beauty, his weaknesses, but also, again, this society that we're talking about, this great society of the pain and the pleasure. It was very realistic. It was very honest. I just love the play, and I love your character too.
Thank you very much. It was great to have you here. I appreciate you guys coming out for the opening of the show.
All right, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashe Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
Hi, I'm Jennifer Davis. This is my second performance show here at the Theater 40. You saw me last year in A Company.
Okay, which character did you play tonight?
I play Charlotte Payne Townsend, the love interest to the very unconventional George Bernard Shaw. She is a multifaceted, wonderful woman who's trying to find her way in a society that has not quite come to appreciate women with brains and ability. She has all of this wonderful knowledge to give, but she doesn't know how to shape it until she stumbles upon the Webbs and George Bernard Shaw. And George is one of the first ones to ever treat her as an equal, as opposed to, oh, you're just a woman, you just need to be going to teas and having a family, and she's not having any of that. She wants to contribute. She just doesn't know how until she meets up with the three of them.
I was amazed at how modern it was because, in a sense, we're talking about this actually felt like it could be played today.
It's a never-ending cycle, especially for women's rights, and how men are view women, and most of John's wonderful dialogue actually came from letters that the four of them all wrote. There's this wonderful book called Mrs. GBS, and I can't remember who the author was. It really shows the dynamic of the four of them. And it was a little, Sean and Charlotte, I think, not only are they soulmates, but they also feed off of each other. And the Irish volatility that happens, and they come apart and they go away, and he still has all of his fake amours, and she had a tumultuous an affair with T.S. Lawrence, and so they're coming together. Truly, they are soulmates, and they feed and work off of each other, and then go away. But yes. It's very strange that 200 years later, because this takes place in 1896, that we're still talking about the same things, that women are still trying to fight, that men still kind of have their thumb on us, on our back, saying no, no, no. And we're like, yes, yes, yes. And the Webbs and Shaw, look at what they created. They created the London School of Economics and the Fabian Society. So it was in a time when when violence ruled, and they're like, no, 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 let us do it Martin Luther King style, for modern terms.
Yeah. Well, I really love the play because, again, the four intellectual giants, so elegant, and also the way you just brought a three-dimensional character out, giving them life, because again, they were real characters, and you just gave them so much substance. I really love the way you guys played it.
Thank you so much. She's dear to my heart. I read the play first 7 years ago and then fell in love with her. And there's a reason why I get to do it now, because I've learned a lot about myself, and now I understand her turning point when she discovers you can't live for somebody else. You have to live for yourself. You have to make yourself useful. You have to make yourself important first before you can share that importance with somebody else. And that's what I tried to bring to her.
Well, I love the performance. I love your performance.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashe Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with...
My name's Warren Davis, and I am playing the character of Sidney Webb in Engaging Shaw here at Theatre 40. Well, Sidney is an economist, a very smart man. Shaw refers to him as the smartest man in England. And yet he also he's a light-hearted guy. He's in a wonderful marriage. He loves his wife very dearly, and I think he loves his life. He's a pretty happy guy.
Some people would actually comment him as, in his marriage, is actually his wife is the leader. She wears the pants in the family and all that. But strangely enough, he seems to make it work. It's like, it empowers her, and that's what he wants, and he himself is pleased with it. So it seems to be just working for him, practical.
Oh yeah, he's pretty happy where things are. He doesn't see any problems in the marriage. Obviously, if you come and see the show, you see that maybe there are problems in his marriage, but he does not see them. And I don't know I think they are actually equal partners. I don't know that Beatrice wears the pants, and I think really he defers to her because he respects her so much. So I do think though that they do operate as equals.
I was amazed at how philosophical, how social this play was. It talked a lot about women's rights, and also the relationship between man and women. It talked about Nietzsche and the Superman, Superwoman, and all that. I was just amazed at how intellectual it was.
Well, these people were intellectuals. They thought very deeply about these sorts of issues, and there's truth in the play as far as the Fabian Society, the existence of the Fabian Society, and what its goals were. So these people thought about society and bettering society a lot.
If my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Well, strangely enough, despite all of these sort of highfalutin ideas, it's a romantic comedy. It operates on many levels. I think there's a love story in there, but it's a very unconventional love story with unconventional people. George Bernard Shaw would not be my first choice for a subject of a romantic comedy, but I think people will just have a really fun time. It should be. It moves very quickly. It's there's laughs, there's touching moments, and hopefully they will enjoy it.
I really enjoyed myself, and I really loved the character you played. You really played an unconventional character, which I really enjoyed.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Take care.
Engaging Shaw will be playing at Theater 40 of Beverly Hills from March 15th to April 15th. For more information, go to www.theater40.org. This is Ashe Marcus, and I'm on location at Theater West for their presentation of The Night Forlorn.
Hi, my name is Ashe Marcus. I'm a KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
I'm Teresa Lewis. I directed this play, The Night Forlorn, or Waiting on God's Fruit.
What was this play about? What was so interesting about this play?
I think this play is so intelligent and yet also has this body, down-home humor. And I love that contrast to it. There's a lot of other things. I mean, it's inspired by Godot, and the playwright is obsessed with Westerns. And he sort of did a mashup of those two kind of ideas, and I love the themes, but I also just think it was just so much fun. The text was so much fun.
Yeah. I remember basically the first time I saw The Magnificent Seven, and they told me it was based upon the Seven Samurais, Kurosawa's. And it was supposed to be this classic. And eventually, several years later, I saw The Seven Samurais, and I realized they weren't really as tightly interpreted. It wasn't like an American version. It actually had its own story behind it. It delved more with the characters. That reminded me a lot of this piece, too. It's based a bit upon Waiting for Godot. But again, it has its own character. It's its own play. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I agree with you 100%. You're brilliant. It is an homage. It takes its inspiration from the idea of, in life, do we take action or do we wait for others to provide our inspiration or push us to action? But from that starting point, it has its own life. It's not a pure adaptation. It's truly just an inspiration, an homage, but the Western stuff is in there just as much, and it's not necessarily linked to these Beckett ideas. They are linked to all the themes in Westerns, the themes of isolation, the themes of what's a hero, the themes of what is goodness, what is evil. I mean, all those themes. All those. What else?
Well, basically, I love the characters. I also love the casting. What do you look for in casting?
Oh, I think casting is like my most important job. I really look for incredible, inspired auditions where the innate talent of the actor comes through, no matter whether they're nervous or whether they understand the play. An actor that I can throw a few things at in the audition and work with them, and they take adjustments, and already I feel like I'm working with that person on the play. That's truly the best audition possible.
Yeah, what I loved about the actors were they actually added a flavor of the Western, the classical Western. It's almost like, they were actually born to do this. It was like, it's almost a style. It's the same way you have a Shakespearean meter, the same way, you basically have a classical style. This had the Western style. You can hear it in the accents, you can hear it in the dialogue, and again, you also hear it in the themes. And again, I'm just surprised, because I never thought about how tightly the Westerns were with, say, Right and Wrong. Yeah, so basically, I love the characters that you chose. They were just a breath of Western air or something like that.
Well, that's Steve. That's the playwright, and it's also these actors. But they a lot of them knew Steve for a long time. They know his brain. They know how silly and actually not sacred the text is, and that they could add their flair. And they all did. And they all did research, and they all just had a blast. They really had a great time.
Well, I really enjoyed myself. I really enjoyed, because again, it wasn't like I was seeing Godot. I've seen Godot several times and all that. So again, I saw something new, something fresh. It reminded me of that, and also brought new other interesting thoughts in my mind. Because
happy.
obviously, something happens in the play that doesn't happen in Godot. And again, I always wonder what would happen if someone changed Godot to the point where actually something like that happened. Because you always think about that.
I think there's an added layer to Steve's theme in that there's this idea of memory and hindsight and how memory changes and memory shifts, and these two guys are trapped in this void, and their memories, they struggle. And everyone who enters, suddenly it's like they're looking at the past with a different view and a different memory, and did I really remember that, or maybe I missed something? And I think that's an added theme, that when we look back in our life, are we remembering it exactly? Are we off, or does it take somebody else to create our memory for us? And I think that's where it diverges, and it's truly Steve's play.
Once again, I really enjoyed myself tonight. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you, sir, and thank you for coming.
Hi, my name is Ashe Marcus. I'm at KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
I'm Jim Bever, I think. We just finished a performance of the Night Forlorn, or Waiting on Godsford at Theater West, and I'm out of breath.
Great, and which character did you play?
I played Percy, who's kind of a dim-witted cowboy. Although there are a lot of dim-witted cowboys in this show. So, me and my partner Elvin are waiting on our boss Godsford, and it's I like to tell people that if you've seen Waiting for Godot and you thought this is brilliant, but I wish it was funnier and shorter, this is the show for you.
Well, I definitely thought it was more accessible, in the sense that, Godot, sometimes you see Godot and you wonder, what is this about anyway? You know what I mean? You didn't feel that way. Again, it gave the themes in it, but you weren't thinking about, hey, I'm totally lost. What are they talking about?
Yeah, I think we, Steve Neville, the playwright, has found a way to honor Waiting for Godot and at the same time make it accessible in both a humorous and a philosophical way that might not always be the case with the Beckett original. We don't have really any lines from Beckett's play, but we found it to be a pretty good starting point for a comedy.
Yeah, I like the way you played your character, because in a sense it was like, when I see the original Godot, it's almost like everyone's dead. They have no feelings, they have no emotions. You don't play off anything. You just have this mystery you're trying to solve philosophically. But you guys actually had earthly feelings. You had relationships, you had friendships, loves and passions and all that.
I think that's it's always a valuable thing in a play if the characters evoke and present real human feelings, and I think that's another of the aspects that makes this play successful, is that it's not Waiting for Godot. It's a much more sort of humanistic approach to some of the same questions, and we're pretty earthy characters, and we've got our hearts are on our sleeves pretty much. It's a fun play to do, and apparently it's a fun play to watch. I haven't gotten to watch it yet, of course, because I'm in it.
And one more thing I want to say, I love you in Better Call Saul. If I ever want to buy an illegal gun, I'm going to come to you.
If you ever want to buy a gun and you're watching AMC, then I'm the guy to come to. On other networks, not so much. But Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad have they've been pretty good for me. I figure it can't go too many episodes without somebody needing a gun on those shows. So I've been lucky.
Okay. Once again, I loved you in the show. Thank you very much for being on this show.
Absolutely. Thank you. Take care.
Hi, my name is Ashe Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
June Schreiner. Well, we just had our 4th performance of The Night Forlorn. I'm feeling excited and proud, and you guys should come see it because it's awesome.
And which character did you play?
I played Tag. Tag is a little troublesome cowboy, whose partner in life is his caretaker, Patsy, who's a little hard on him, but he's loyal, and he whittles and sings and ropes and quotes scripture, and he's an interesting, confusing little guy. You gotta come see him.
Yeah, I've seen Waiting for Godot several times, obviously. Your character is based on Happy, and you're nothing like that character.
Yeah, we're doing our own play. It's influenced by Waiting for Godot, but it's not a direct interpretation of it. Just influence, but it's Steve Neville's own work. Yeah,
definitely. Because your character, again, how should I put it? It's an original character. It's different, even from the original reading that I saw.
Oh yeah,
it's different. It's been added. You've been given an entire character.
Well, I wasn't familiar with it before this script, so I'm not sure what.
It was based more on the original Waiting for Godot. So your character has a lot more influence on the subject line. It has a lot more substance to it, and it actually has a bit of a character actually.
Yeah, I'm thrilled by the material that Steve has given me to work with Tag. I think he is super interesting and profound in his own way, and carries a lot of the play's intellect and some of the themes of it. So I'm thrilled. I feel really lucky and really humbled to be able to play this part. And also it's cool to explore gender and what does gender mean and what does it mean to have a girl playing a boy, and does Patsy know that it's a girl? Does Tag know? It's been a really interesting conversation, especially this day and age when gender is such it's such a topic, as it should be, and I'm really excited about that. And
If my viewers decide to come and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
You should expect to see some tumbleweed comedy. It's weird and funny and surprising and scary a little bit. You're in for a good ride. And there's no intermission. Short play, so that's a plus.
I really love the play. I loved you in the two.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. Come see us.
Hi, my name is Ashe Marcus. I'm at KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
I am Bob Lauer. I'm glad you came to see Night Forlorn, Waiting on God's Fruit, and I'm having a great time playing John, a mysterious visitor who knows things that they don't know, and I can't let them know that I know.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Something they haven't seen before?
If they come here, what should I say that this is about? Is it about Waiting for Godot as a Western? What is it?
I tell friends it's cowboy Western version of Waiting for Godot, but it isn't. It's suggested by Waiting for Godot. The ideas of the characters, the loneliness of the desert are all suggested. It's not Waiting for Godot with a cowboy accent. It's a whole new take on the idea of Waiting for Godot.
I think your original character in Waiting for Godot was a little boy, who didn't do a whole lot, just talked and ran away scared.
You're right. He's older and a little more wise than he lets on. And I'm very grateful to be playing it.
I love the performance tonight It was more accessible. I understood everybody, and I understood you too. Thank you very much for being. So I really loved it. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you very much. Hope to see you again.
The Night Forlorn will be playing at Theater West from March 16th to April 22nd. For more information, go to www.theaterwest.org.